Hey, it's me, Jimmy D, and welcome to our episode 4 Swamp Thing review. We are here. I'm here with Joe.
Hi guys.
There's a lot of things to talk about that happened, but it kind of felt like not much happened at the same time. You had the episode start with two swampers going to the swamp. They're gonna cut down this tree. Dead body falls on them, and it cuts one of their arms. And a disease caused him to hallucinate and end up killing himself, which stabbing himself in the arm because he's seeing stuff, and then puts his hand in a garbage disposal. And then he scratches another person, and it spreads. It scratches another person, and it spreads again until Abby gets it and takes it back to the swamp, where Swamp Thing puts it back in the dead body. Now that's cool, and it's a good build up for later on in the series. But like, I feel like Joe will explain in a little bit. It kind of felt like a monster of the week.
So I mean, a lot of anime and like long-running TV shows, they'll have like a monster of the week kind of thing, where it's like, oh, this is what we got to deal with this episode, and like a lot of times they'll have no effect on the overall story.
Yeah.
I feel like it's kind of hinted here,
Hmm.
but and then they threw the connections at the beginning and end.
Yeah.
But I feel like they could have replaced this with like anything else
And have been,
and just threw those connection at the beginning and end.
in a way. I can agree with that. Um, you have this the disease. It first kicked up back in 1923 at this hotel, where it spread among people, and the person went and killed himself um in the woods, and that's where the episode ends, is him with a disease back in the woods, and the swamp takes him. So I completely see that. Now, one thing we have to point out is that Sutherlands have now taken the little girl. Not only have they taken him, but they paid for her.
They bought
Yeah, they
as
bought
the
her.
guy. They bought a child.
They bought a child. First of all, how horrible of a fucking uncle are you to just sell your niece?
Like, like, did they say he was the uncle?
I assumed he was. I
That's
I
the thing. I don't know who that guy
yeah,
was.
I assumed he was the uncle because um he was asking why'd you want her anyway and all that. So I assumed it was the uncle to kind of pay for them to be able to adopt her.
Well, the first thing he says is, "How is she?" And
Yeah,
then he's like, "You don't care about that.
yeah.
You just want this money."
So it's very all over the place. You have Swamp Thing. He Swamp Thing really doesn't do much but talk in the shadows this episode, which, other than taking the disease from Abby, it I wish there was more of something for him to do this episode, and that's sort of why we're saying it feels like an episode of the week. Villain of the week. But
And it's
go
kind
ahead.
of weird considering the series is only like 10
Mm-hmm.
episodes. That's what kind of, is like, can they afford? Like, I can't really see
Yeah,
them being able to afford to do it like once or one time more, one or two times more.
yeah. Like, I feel like because next week marks the halfway point, so like we're building
I
up to
think
that
I think the doctor's
climax.
gonna have a breakthrough or something.
The doctor, I assume he's gonna have a breakthrough because him and so Abby made the mistake of allowing him to analyze Swamp Thing's cell type and structure and all that because it's a mixture between plant cells and animal cells. That that was a mistake because he's evil. uh, he's very weird. Um, and I Abby said for him to swore that he wasn't going to share it, but ultimately I feel like he's going to tell Sutherland, hands down.
See, I see what this crazy doctor. I feel like he's gonna do. because his wife is sick, right?
Yeah. Try to use
So
it.
he's gonna use it on her and make another or
Swamp Thing.
another swamp thing, and I feel like the series is gonna end with them fighting it out or something.
Okay. Okay.
And like Swamp Thing like curing her
Okay.
or something.
All right. Well, how would
Uh,
you rate this episode?
Honestly, I like the other episodes more. I'll
Mhm.
give it like a 6.5.
This was average. I'm gonna give it a 5, um, because it's a good episode, but compared to the others, I did feel like it was weaker. While we talked about last week's how it felt like a chunk of it was story to and filler to kind of push along the narrative, which is needed, and then you had the action at the end. This one, it really didn't have action other than the people hallucinating. So that's sort of why we feel that way. But let us know in the comments below how you feel about episode 4 of Swamp Thing. And like always, I will see you in the next one. Later.